I truly have to say, after only 4 episodes of this wonderful show, I could easily see myself saying by the time the first of hopefully many seasons concludes, that this is one of my favorite slice-of-life comedy anime that has ever been made. There's something about the chemistry between Rydo and Aharen and just the shit they get up into. I think having a man like Rydo, who is so paranoid and jumps to conclusions without doing anything with a physical action to make things complicated, the fact that he can look at a girl choking on food and think she's possessed by the devil, or the fact that, we have to go into DJ freestyles, or just how Aharen is one of the most expression-filled characters without showing that much expression. There's just so much about these two. And to add a teacher into the mix who is so passionate about love, and to see these two, in fact, they're just really good friends as it stands, but for her, it's the most romantic thing ever. And the misunderstanding that apparently she has health issues. At first, I was believing she had health issues. At this point, I think it might just be because she's passing out from loving things that are so lovey-dovey so much. But still, this episode, best episode of the show to date, and all 4 episodes have been incredible. But I mean, that DJ, holy shit, the rapping? I was not expecting that, because, when you really look at Aharen in the first 2 episodes, and compare to episodes 3 and 4, it is night and day how much more she is communicating, and how we don't need to have Rydo, come to the conclusion or say it to the viewer's face, almost breaking the fourth wall. We just know she's feeling more comfortable because she has a genuine best friend who cares about her. And to have something like rap and how, she just starts freestyling and then he starts doing it himself. And the fact that they're just so cringy, but they're so lovable that you just can't help but love the shit that they're getting into. And how they legit are communicating quite well. Had it not been a bannable offense, apparently, in terms of having mics at school, there would have never been a communication issue again, because she'd be able to just, drop her flow in the mic and everything would be fine. But to see how, they incorporate so many different smaller ideas in the middle of the main one, which is, of course, the main duo. Like the fact that he tries practicing his rapping at home and then the sister just thinks he's cringy as you just casually reveal the mom into the equation. And then the fact that she starts doing the same thing to, as an apology and then gives him a fidget spinner. I never thought about a fidget spinner because who the hell does, really? It was just a quick fad. But the idea of someone like Aharen, who, if there's any character I've seen in anime recently that I think would become addicted, or at the very least become addicted not because she necessarily likes the thing, but just doesn't understand it, it has to be her. The fact that she just goes from casually spinning it to basically having her entire life revolve around it was some of the funniest shit they could have ended this episode on, and I thought the first couple of segments were good enough. I didn't know if they'd be able to top themselves after having the loving teacher moments to the rapping, but then just to see her get from being obsessive with it to literally looking like she hasn't slept in weeks, to then realizing that she just was trying to understand the hype around this thing, and then she had her fun with it. And then the fact that our boy Rydo has the same issue. It's just, I love how this man, he is so concerned about her well-being, whether it's being possessed by the devil and she's actually choking, to worrying about her future, that she's going to be president or she'll be getting married and she'll still have the fidget spinners going. I love how this man cares for her so much, and that's what makes, I think, the teacher moment so great, is even though she's jumping to conclusions that aren't there, he's just trying to whisper the answer into her ear because she couldn't hear it. In fact, he's just trying to tell her to stop playing with the fidget spinner in class. Or the fact that, some of it she does recognize correctly, like the fact that he's helping her see and things like that. But just to see, how in love she thinks they are, which I do think they would make a hell of a cute couple. But the thing that makes the relationship between them special is that they're just genuinely good friends as it stands. And nothing can get in the way of them. And I love seeing other characters kind of have that, the third-person view, kind of observing from a distance, not having the bird's eye view completely, but just seeing things that look so weird, but they can't help but just grin ear to ear. I truly think Rydo and Aharen have some of the best chemistry that anime has seen to date, and I mean that with full sincerity. I truly think the relationship that they have between them, it's so anime without going super goofy. I love the fact that you can put these characters in any situation, and it's going to be comedy gold, because both of them, they're not overly emotional to the point of their voice fluctuates insanely. When Rydo's shocked, it's not that much of a different vocal performance than his general conversation. Or when you have Aharen, who now is fully speaking just very softly, but the fact that when she's rapping, I mean, seriously, the rapping between both of them, I love how amateur, but like solid the coaching was for these voice actors to like enunciate and everything like that. It just had such a amateur vibe to it that it was hard not to kind of have a bit of a bop going on, because you're like, man, they're giving it their all and they're having fun, so it's hard not to have fun with them. Well, I love the final moments in the episode with these kids who, I mean, I knew they're going to get introduced eventually, just given the, character listings and things like that, but to see how they color boy Rydo just like a lackey, essentially, and how because they were there first, he needs to get them a juice box. But the fact that they're so enthralled with their king because she was a fidget spinner queen, I love the fact that then you get like the childhood friend, like, oh, she's just trying to seduce you, you shouldn't fall victim to this, and then the game and how Rydo gets his ass handed to him with legit trying to stomp on these kids, and then she ends up forfeiting on purpose. I just love seeing how, for someone who already looks like a kid to so many people at a distance, the fact that you then introduce legit children who have the mentality of actual children as well. It's comedy gold, I have to say. And I think probably one of the best, subtle overreactions that Rydo has had over these 4 episodes has to be the pets. So they're in the park, right, before the kids come there, and there's a dog looking at them, and he thinks it's a wild mutt that's going to destroy them. There's a cat and things like that. And then at the very end of the episode, after the credits, you see her get on her dog and ride off like it's a stallion. This man goes to such leaps in his mind of things that are just so over-exaggerated, overreacted. But then sometimes you see shit in this show like her riding off on her dog, and you say, it's hard not to judge Rydo with his overreactions when some of the shit he sees, it does kind of lend itself to have credibility sometimes. I love these two. I think they are some of the most charming anime duos that I have seen in this medium, and I've seen a lot of shows with this type of style, but I love their dynamic, and I especially love how the team is animating the kind of background details, like the fact that a lot of times the general students in the background, whether it's in the classroom or it's the characters walking into the school, they actually animate the background crowd a lot of the times in a 3D way, and they blend it so seamlessly with the 2D environments and character drawings. Which is a really good detail that gives it a bit more personality and life and doesn't feel like it's as disposable background details as you're typically used to, the barely drawn character models in the background. Now we actually have fully animated things happening, and I mean, sure, if you necessarily focus on them, you can tell they're 3D, but your main focus is on someone like Rydo, right? So it just makes it feel a lot more full of life without lacking details, which is a really cool thing in my opinion. But thoughts, if you have any favorite moment, was this your personal favorite episode like it was mine? Let me know down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.